let's learn more about this immune system. Okay, the immune system consists of cells that protect the body against viruses, bacteria by producing leukocytes, which are white blood cells. So I told you, like when you're under stress, you can't produce as many white blood cells because all your energy is going towards maintaining your high rate of functioning. So we're going to learn about the different parts, and so the B cells, okay? And B cells are leukocytes that mature in the bone marrow and they secrete antibodies. So I'm taking this directly from your textbook. Maybe you just want to highlight it there. Um, so B cells, if you can remember, B cells, bone marrow. And then antibodies are Y-shaped proteins that attach to particular kinds of antigens. And then my next statement is antigens are surface proteins that are antibody generator molecules. So I know that's kind of circular. I'm taking it from the book, but basically what the body does is it scans for these surface proteins to make sure that this is our cell. And when it finds a surface protein that isn't part of the body, then you're trying to generate antibodies against that because that's a foreigner. They're not supposed to be here. This is our body. We want these kind of proteins in it because these are healthy. And when it finds something that isn't supposed to be there, then it's going to develop the antibodies to attack it. So let's review what you should know off this slide. You don't need to know it word for word, but off this slide what you need is what is the immune system, okay? It's cells that protect the body against viruses and bacteria, and what it does is it produces white blood cells. And then try to remember B cells are made in the bone marrow and they produce these things called antibodies, which are Y-shaped proteins. The Y-shaped proteins, they're searching the body for anything that looks foreign. Okay, a T cell. A T cell, they are, okay, so this is your army. Your army are the B cells, the T cells, the natural killer cells. So you've got three types of forces, basically. So the B cells, think of them as developing, I call them the bullet makers. So they develop a specific bullet that kills this type of virus. So like, let's pretend, doesn't a vampire need a silver bullet maybe? Okay, so the B cells, when they see, oh no, there's vampires in us, then they would develop a silver bullet. And then like zombies, I don't even know how you kill zombies. Let's pretend that they need, they need some kind of dynamite to just blow them apart. Okay, so then the B cells would, when they saw some zombies inside of you, then they would develop a special bullet that has an explosive powers to explode them. And then when they find the werewolf, I forget how you kill a werewolf. Okay, well they make special werewolf bullets. So the B cells are these specialized cells that kind of make different types of bullets. The T cells, think of them as like the ninjas. They're going to go and they're going to attack the intruders directly, and when they're not busy attacking the intruders directly, what they're going to do is they're going to help the bullet makers. The natural killer cells are, let's just call them, the grenade throwers. Okay, so the T cells would be like the ninjas, where they're going to attack you directly. The natural killer cells would be like the grenade holders, as they go and they find, oh my gosh, there's a cluster, there's an army here of tumor cells or cells that are affected with viruses, and they just take a grenade and just blow them all apart. So they're not making specialized bullets like the antibodies, they're just taking a grenade and just blowing them to bits. Now the natural killer cells are actually kind of dangerous in some cases, like when you do an organ transplant, the new organ is looked at as, you're not part of us, you're not supposed to be here, so you actually have to suppress the immune system to allow the body to adapt to the new organ, because if you don't, then the natural killer cells are just going to take the grenades and just blow it to bits. So prolonged increased cortisol levels impair the immune system. So basically when you're making the body work, it doesn't have time to replenish the armies, and so all of these weaken. Let's see, I think the next one is cytokines. Yeah, okay. During an infection, leukocytes and other cells produce small proteins called cytokines. So the cytokines are like the messengers. They're like these little messages that it sends, but it's actually a fluid. And what they do is the cytokines are kind of the message of telling the brain what's going on down in the body. So think of the brain as like the president, right? The president is in the White House. The army is fighting down in the body. So the way that the brain is getting the information, what's going on with my army, what's going on, is through the cytokinins. So you could look at it as the cytokinins would be in the old days like the telegraph messages, or like the text messages from the body over to the president. But when the brain gets lots of cytokinin messages, then what it does is it produces fevers of illness. So it raises the body temperature, and remember that the viruses can't live as well with the body temperature high. It causes sleepiness because, look, your army's trying to rebuild itself. It's fighting a war. You don't need to be doing a lot of stuff. You need to go to sleep. You need to rest. And that's something to really consider. As a lot of us, look, when your body is sick, understand your body's saying, there's an army down here. We are fighting so hard to get rid of this virus that's in you. Please give us all the support that you can, instead of just saying, no, forget it. I don't have time to sleep. I don't have time to do that. I want you to understand you could be obliterating your army by doing that. When you get these feelings of sickness, that's your sign. That's your sign from the body. It's saying, hey, we need your support in resting. So fever, sleepiness, lack of energy. Sleep and inactivity are the body's way of conserving energy to fight illness. And I really hope instead of taking medicine, some of the medicine, what it does is it just takes away our symptoms, and it actually is stimulating the sympathetic nervous system more. So like a lot of the cold medicines, the reason why you get a dry mouth, the reason why you might feel the heart fluctuate, is what it's doing is it's stimulating the sympathetic response. So you no longer have you don't have the runny nose. You're not going to cough because all of those things are suppressed when you're under stress. You don't have time for a runny nose. But look, what you're doing is you're putting your body under more stress when it just needs to heal. Post